Geography and Environment. Geography of New Zealand and Environment of New Zealand. Atlas of New Zealand at Wikimedia Commons. The snow-capped Southern Alps dominate the South Island, while the North Island's Northland Peninsula stretches towards the subtropics. New Zealand is located near the center of the water hemisphere and is made up of two main islands and more than 700 smaller islands. The two main islands, the North Island, or Te Maui, and the South Island, or Te Waitanemu, are separated by Cook Strait, 22 kilometers, 14 miles, wide at its narrowest point. Besides the North and South Islands, the five largest inhabited islands are Stewart Island, across the Foveaux Strait, Chatham Island, Great Barrier Island in the Hauraki Gulf, D'Urville Island in the Marlborough Sounds, and Waiheke Island, about 22 kilometers, 14 miles, from central Auckland. New Zealand is long and narrow, over 1,600 kilometers, 990 miles, along its north-northeast axis, with a maximum width of 400 kilometers, 250 miles, with about 15,000 kilometers, 9,300 miles, of coastline, 163, and a total land area of 268,000 square kilometers, 103,500 square miles. 164. Because of its far-flung outlying islands and long coastline, the country has extensive marine resources. Its exclusive economic zone is one of the largest in the world, covering more than 15 times its land area. The South Island is the largest landmass of New Zealand. It is divided along its length by the Southern Alps. There are 18 peaks over 3,000 meters, 9,800 feet, the highest of which is Aoraki/Mount Cook at 3,724 meters, 12,218 feet. Fireland steep mountains and deep fires record the extensive Ice Age glaciation of this southwestern corner of the South Island. The North Island is less mountainous but is marked by volcanism. The highly active Taupo volcanic zone has formed a large volcanic plateau, punctuated by the North Island's highest mountain, Mount Ruapehu, 2,797 meters, 9,177 feet. The plateau also hosts the country's largest lake, Lake Taupo, nestled in the caldera of one of the world's most active supervolcanoes. The country owes its varied topography, and perhaps even its emergence above the waves, to the dynamic boundary it straddles between the Pacific and Indo-Australian plates. New Zealand is part of Zealandia, a microcontinent nearly half the size of Australia that gradually submerged after breaking away from the Gondwanan supercontinent. About 25 million years ago, a shift in plate tectonic movements began to contort and crumple the region. This is now most evident in the Southern Alps, formed by compression of the crust beside the Alpine Fault. Elsewhere, the plate boundary involves the subduction of one plate under the other, reducing the Piesiger Trench to the south, the Itirangi Trench east of the North Island, and the Kermadec and Tonga Trenches further north. New Zealand, together with Australia, is part of a region known as Australasia. It also forms the southwestern extremity of the geographic and ethnographic region called Polynesia. Oceania is a wider region encompassing the Australian continent, New Zealand, and various island countries in the Pacific Ocean that are not included in the seven-continent model. Climate of New Zealand. New Zealand's climate is predominantly temperate maritime, K10 CFV, with mean annual temperatures ranging from 10 C, 50 F in the south to 16 C, 61 F in the north. Historical maxima and minima are 42.4 C, 108.32 F in Rangiora, Canterbury, and minus 25.6 C, 14.08 F in Ranfurly, Otago. Conditions vary sharply across regions, from extremely wet on the west coast of the South Island to semi-arid in central Otago and the Mackenzie Basin of inland Canterbury, and subtropical in Northland. Of the 7 largest cities, Christchurch is the driest, receiving on average only 618 millimeters, 24.3 in, of rain per year, and Wellington the wettest, receiving almost twice that amount. Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch all receive a yearly average of more than 2,000 hours of sunshine. The southern and southwestern parts of the South Island have a cooler and cloudier climate, with around 1,400–1,600 hours. The northern and northeastern parts of the South Island are the sunniest areas of the country and receive about 2,400–2,500 hours. The general snow season is early June until early October, though cold snaps can occur outside this season. Snowfall is common in the eastern and southern parts of the South Island and mountain areas across the country. The table below lists climate normals for the warmest and coldest months in New Zealand's 6 largest cities. North Island cities are generally warmest in February. South Island cities are warmest in January. Biodiversity: the endemic flightless kiwi is a national icon. New Zealand's geographic isolation for 80 million years and island geography has influenced evolution of the country's species of animals, fungi and plants. Physical isolation has caused biological isolation, resulting in a dynamic evolutionary ecology with examples of distinctive plants and animals as well as populations of widespread species. The flora and fauna of New Zealand were originally thought to have originated from New Zealand's fragmentation off from Gondwana. However, more recent evidence postulates species resulted from dispersal. About 82% of New Zealand's indigenous vascular plants are endemic, covering 1,944 species across 65 genera. The number of fungi recorded from New Zealand, including lichen-forming species, is not known, nor is the proportion of those fungi which are endemic, but one estimate suggests there are about 2,300 species of lichen-forming fungi in New Zealand, and 40% of these are endemic. The 2 main types of forest are those dominated by broadleaf trees, with emergent podocarps, or by southern beech, in cooler climates. The remaining vegetation types consist of grasslands, the majority of which are tussock. Before the arrival of humans, an estimated 80% of the land was covered in forest, with only high alpine, wet, infertile and volcanic areas without trees. Massive deforestation occurred after humans arrived, with around half the forest cover lost to fire after Polynesian settlement. Much of the remaining forest fell after European settlement, being logged or cleared to make room for pastoral farming, leaving forest occupying only 23% of the land. An artist's rendition of a host seagull attacking two moa, the giant host seagull, died out when humans hunted its main prey, the moa, to extinction. The forests were dominated by birds, and the lack of mammalian predators led to some, like the kiwi, kakapo, weka and taka, evolving flightlessness. 198. The arrival of humans, associated changes to habitat, and the introduction of rats, ferrets and other mammals led to the extinction of many bird species, including large birds like the moa and host seagull. Other indigenous animals are represented by reptiles, tuatara, skinks and geckos, frogs, spiders, insects, weta, and snails. Some, such as the tuatara, are so unique that they have been called living fossils. 3 species of bats, once extinct, were the only sign of native land mammals in New Zealand until the 2006 discovery of bones from a unique, mouse-sized land mammal at least 16 million years old. Marine mammals, however, are abundant, with almost half the world's cetaceans, whales, dolphins, and porpoises, and large numbers of fur seals, reported in New Zealand waters. Many seabirds breed in New Zealand, a third of them unique to the country. More penguin species are found in New Zealand than in any other country, with 13 of the world's 18 penguin species. Since human arrival, almost half of the country's vertebrate species have become extinct, including at least 51 birds, 3 frogs, 3 lizards, 1 freshwater fish, and 1 bat. Others are endangered or have had their range severely reduced. However, New Zealand conservationists have pioneered several methods to help threatened wildlife recover, including island sanctuaries, pest control, wildlife translocation, fostering an ecological restoration of islands and other protected areas.